Right, hanging this reclaimed door in this hole. First thing you want to do is just assess the situation, measure the gap, measure your door, see how it's going to fit. I know that this door is twisted. Look at it through there. You can't really see, but the bottom edge kicks up. So when I hang this door, it's going to have some sort of spring to it. Right. That 107, 105, 105, 103, 103, 105. The gap is parallel. The top 92, 92. But you can see it's sitting like that. That's because the bottom is a good 5mm shorter there. It's already been fitted in somebody else's house. If I stand it up straight, it looks like the top's going to go in without any planing, or very little. But I know that the bottom doesn't fit. It's a very good fit, this one, actually. You could get a put a level and see how straight your legs are. You know, assess the situation first. Put a level on the top. It's pointless putting a square on, especially if these are bent. But what I'm going to do is plane a bit off the bottom. Depending on which side I plane off, if I plane some off there, it's going to throw the door like that. If I plane it off this side, when I hang it, it'll straighten this side up, but it'll throw that corner up. So what I need to do now is work out, does that need to go that way, or just straight down? Right, so with the door sort of wedged in place, right, so with the door, with that I tie it up against there, see there's a decent gap there, that's going to go past there. On the top there's a gap there, but it's tight there. Stay. If I was to take some out of the bottom of that, that would swing that round and increase that gap. I don't want that. So I'll be taking wood off that side to make it fit in. I'm going to ignore the bottom for the moment. I'm going to trim the top and trim that side so that it goes in the hole. I'm just going to take just enough off here, just so that it'll go back. Then once it's in the hole, I can work out that gap at the top a little bit easier. So that's pretty good down there. The gap is more than acceptable, that. Like I say, there's loads of clearance there. Bit tight in the middle, but I think it'll pass. So I'll just take a fraction off the bottom here, just so that, like I say, it goes in the hole. And the top. This is the edge I've got to take a bit off. Hopefully it's not full of nails. We'll soon see. I'll take a little pencil line on there. And then I'm going to take it off to about here. So I'll take a little bit to there, then a bit to there, then a bit to there. Right, it's still a little snug, All I want to do is just take a little bit off this top corner, like I say, just get it in the hole. This is a fairly easy one, so not a lot to show, but get it in the hole first. This door's piss wet through. It's been in the garage that leaks. I brought it in the other day, but staples. Right, so that gap, it's not bad actually for a reclaimed door. They've always got a little character to them, but I'll take a fraction more off. And then you see the gap at the bottom. It's sitting on the threshold rather than the carpet here. So I'll parallel that up, but I'm not going to take much off because there's going to be a hardwood floor in here, and I'm using rising butt hinges, partly because they're on all the other doors, but also it means I can get a tight gap down there, and then as it opens it'll lift. So I'll tidy that up a little bit, take a fraction more off, make that parallel. Then I can work out how much has to come off the bottom. Right, to get that gap parallel, I'm going to use the arc drive and sort of run my fingers along there. I need to push it in with my other hand. So that's what I did, just ran along like that. So that line there, I'll plane that to that line now. Then I can trim the bottom. Right, so that's looking better. Looking a bit more parallel anyway. It needs to come up just a fraction. Like I say, I don't want to take too much off the bottom. So I'm going to go from that point and just trim it across. So I'll take maybe that much off. Right, top's cut, bottom's cut. I'm happy with that leg. So what I can do now is take a little bit more off there. So it's still tight at the bottom there. I'll take a bit more off there. Make that gap parallel to that. But before I can plane that side, this side, it's got like a leading edge on it. You do that to help stop it binding. Sometimes it binds in this back corner. A lot of paint build up on there. But what I need to do is just plane a little bit off this edge, just to make that leading edge go the other way. See, I'm just taking a bit off this edge here. I don't want to take any off the front edge here, but I'll take it back another 1 or 2 cuts. So after planing that bit off, I didn't take any off, off this front edge, so the door's the same width as it was. But now I've taken that off. See, the door's sitting tighter down there now, because that leading edge has been taken off. It can move over, but that's increased that gap. Now I've got to decide. You can actually see through there. Now I've got to decide, am I going to make that gap parallel, or am I just going to plane it to fit so that it closes? Like I say, it's character with these old doors. Don't know. I'm going to plane a bit more off the bottom there, get it swinging, see how it looks. So now there's enough clearance there, at least just for now anyway. Still a big gap at the top. I need to just lift it up a little bit. And this hinge, that hinge, they're 4-inch hinges. I'm going to use the existing ones, which are on the wrong side of course. I'm going to use these ones on the door and chop this piece out here. Because it's easier to fill and paint the frame rather than trying to patch up, you know, those holes. These mortises that are cut for these chisels are a lot deeper than what I need. And I'm going to be putting them on that way around. So I'm just going to take just enough of this out. Just for one leaf of these. Leaving that gap. Doesn't matter if the hinge kicks in like that. As long as this front edge, this is the one that determines where your hinge sits. So I've just taken enough of that out for that to be flush. But that's quite a long way, so I am going to put a packer in there. But that's going to sit like that. I'll do the same at the bottom here. Right, with the door sat in place, the gap at the top, what I want, hinges chopped in, I can slide this hinge in there into its pocket that I've just cut, mark on the frame what needs cutting out. It's only that little bit at the top on these, but so I can mark that now. Same on the bottom. You see a pencil line there, that's that. So you see how the door sits in. I've got to decide where I'm going to put this hinge. Right, these hinges have got quite a big knuckle on there. So on the door I want to put them about there, otherwise it starts rising up. But on the frame here, I know it needs to go back a little bit, so I'm going to go with the existing line there. See how that goes. Years of old paint on here. If I was just to stick a chisel in there, it'd splinter. I'm going to cut it with a knife, but I still don't expect it to be, you know, beautiful. It'll probably just splinter still. But I'll cut it, do what I can. I think that was already broken, that. So that's flush now. The grain comes up like that. So I had to work upwards. Right, see how it's set back. So that. I'm just going to put a screw in the top, and then I'm going to find a packer to put in the bottom. And I'm going to fill this up with wood eventually. But for now I'm just going to put a screw in the top there. You don't want to put the screws in too big, because they'll hit the brickwork behind, and sometimes they can push this frame across, which then throws all your joints out, and you think, oh, why doesn't it fit? It did do. It's because you put screws in that are too long and hitting the brickwork. So I'll put a screw in there. So just put a screw in the top. You see how it kicks in like that? This one doesn't. If I was to pull that straight, see how much that's sticking out now. So they're temporarily on there. Just put a screw in the bottom just to stop it moving out. So they're temporarily on there. See how they go. These I've just used white packers. They were a bit wide, so I just went chisel and broke that edge, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to swap them for wood at a later date. Right, I'm going to sit it on, see how it looks. Because these are rising butt hinges, I know that I'm going to have to take this corner off. But hopefully I can sit it on and see how it looks. See how much has to come off. 100 quid. Wow. Right, so I don't really need to take any off there. I'm going to take a fraction off because it only just clears. And one thing about these hinges is they're sort of almost self-closing. That's not bad. Still a bit tight down there. Just need to take a bit off down there. Got that spring there. I'm going to take it off to plane that off there. Bit of a look at the other side. It's touching at the bottom. It's touching at the bottom. Big gap here. But there's a gap there. And it's not bad there. So I'm going to move that hinge in a little bit. I'll pull the top of the door this way, close that gap a little bit more. And while the door's off, I'll plane a bit more off there. Right, so I'll move that hinge in a bit. Let's make that gap more parallel. Reduce that a little bit. And for some reason, the drawers dropped a little bit. Don't know why. I think I'm going to leave it. For now anyway, I'll drop these hinges down a little bit. Up, should I say. Move that up a little bit. But that gap's okay there. Widens a bit at the top. It's all a bit, yeah. I think that's alright. Now what I've got to do, take it off, cut these panels out and put glass in. I'm going to use toughened glass because that breaks into little pieces. I could use laminated, but that breaks into shards. It doesn't break through, but it breaks like normal glass. It breaks into sharp pieces. Little kids in this house, that's no good. I think toughened's the best option for this one. So it doesn't matter if it breaks through. And there's no window there for a while, you know, lots of little bits on the floor, I sweep them up. Yeah, that's it for now. I'm going to take this back to the workshop, cut these panels out because I have to sort of create a rebate for the glass. This beading's sort of pinned on like that. These panels are probably built in, probably got a groove in the door. So I'll go back to the workshop, work that one out.